Hello, welcome back to the GameSpot stage right here at E3 2014. E3 is not the only thing that's on right now. Oh no, I'm going to be sitting on not even this stage. I'm going to be sitting on the other stage when the FIFA World Cup in Brazil 2014 kicks off. Brazil versus Croatia. I'm very sad that I'll be missing it, but I'm very happy to have lead producer of the games, Nick Cannon, on the stage. Pleasure to meet you, sir.
And you, thank you for being here.
FIFA 15, last year was an interesting year for you guys. You obviously released the we can now call past-gen version of FIFA 14. And then you also released the next-gen version, which was actually substantively very different to what the other one was. 15, is it a now unified experience, or what are you bringing new to the table?
No, I mean, I think what we did last year and what we'll always continue to do is we'll always drive innovation on Gen 4 in particular. I mean, we're still moving forward on the Gen 3 consoles, making that'll see significant improvements this year, but we don't want the technology to be hamstrung by, you know, the old consoles. We're driving the innovation as much as we can on, you know, on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and obviously this year we've also announced that the next gen version will be also on PC, whereas last year was based on Gen 3. So really trying to drive the innovation.
I think a lot of people will be happy about that.
Absolutely.
I'm assuming that was an issue with, you know, I'm just talking to this. You're my hat trick of EA folks for sports games.
Right.
That is a problem when you're trying to make games every single year, surely.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're making a game for a new console, you've got to make the game while the machines are also being made. So it's a difficult thing to do. We we had a team on it for a couple of years, making sure that transition was really strong. I think everyone understands we didn't quite get it right the last transition, so we made sure that the game was fully featured, all the major features were on there, and then spent time to also innovate for the new hardware. So the base was there, and then obviously now this year we can bring that same technology to PC.
FIFA 14 for next gen was definitely a strong transition. What are you guys doing with 15?
Really a lot of stuff this year. So it's given us that great base to really start to innovate again. So, you know, a number of things that we're doing is around like the player model. So we've completely reworked all of our player models this year. I don't know if we're going to see it on screen, but
yeah, I think we got some Messi.
Got Lionel Messi here, just showing just how athletic he looks. He looks lean. He looks toned. We felt at times previously our player model looked a bit, you know, that the shirt would look a bit baggy. They were a bit dropped in the shoulders. So spent a lot of time making sure that looks great. And as you can see it here, just how much more athletic he looks, more toned around the shoulders and the arms. So completely reworked our player model. And also the animation rig underneath it. The next thing that we've done is some technology we've been working on for a couple of years in the background that we're going to be bringing in. So if we see a screenshot now of the full game, we're going to see a screenshot of FIFA 14.
Okay.
As you see right here, it looks a little bit, I mean, this looks great. We're very proud of this game.
Yeah, it looks like Arsenal are going to beat Man City as well.
Exactly.
I'm pretty happy about that.
But you don't see, there's no detailing in the pitch. It looks a little bit flat, and then if we transition to the next screenshot, you'll see that's how it looks now on 15.
Wow,
okay. So it's a dramatic difference. You've got all the sort of detailing in the pitch itself. And this is using a technique that we call physically based rendering. As I say, we've been working on that for a couple of years. You can only do it with the sort of power of the new consoles. So really pleased with that. I don't know if we've got a video that shows the time lapse of how the footprints work, but if we bring that up, we're actually simulating the footsteps of every single player on the pitch. Not only do you see footprints, you'll see slide marks or slide tackles. We also now have cloth, so when you do that slide tackle, you'll start to see dirt on the kits as well. So it's also, you know, it's bringing the game to life. It makes it look a lot more realistic and authentic. And we think it's a huge step forward in our, in our visual quality.
Yeah, cutting up the Etihad is always a fun experience.
Exactly.
I didn't like
that's one of the, no, sorry, not the Etihad. I was thinking of the Emirates. Emirates is one of the best pitches around.
Yeah, pristine as well.
Amazing. Truly amazing.
So how bad can that stuff get? Can you like really cut up pitches?
You
like
can cut it up and you'll see it's different. You just saw a glimpse of it at the end there when it goes to rain. You'll see it's more mud than it is sort of, you know, when it's a clear day, you get the footprints. It's just pushing the grass down. Whereas you see you know, when it's wet, you'll start to see it gets a bit more muddy.
Excellent. In terms of the player movement, player control, every single year you guys, it's almost like a good problem to have in that you seem to be, the community seems to generally have only maybe one or two little niggles. The general control and how the players move is fundamentally sound. So every year, how do you address what you want to do next? Because there's obviously a pressure to do something. But then when the fundamental basics are working so well, how do you decide what you want to work on?
Well, we look at lots of different elements. It's, you know, every year we look at the game and it's, okay, how can we improve it? How can we make that next leap forward? And Like last year, we introduced on the next-gen console the step-based locomotion. You know, it was a dramatic change in the look and the feel of our game, but we did get some feedback from our community that it felt at times unresponsive. So we've worked a lot on that, a lot more animation coverage, a lot more agile, tight turns, and I think, you know, people have played it just completely feel the difference this year. I think we've got some the game footage here where we're going to show a new technology around some of the emotion. I know one of your favorite players is Nasri, who we're going to see here. So actually, he's just been fouled by Neymar.
Okay.
So in this situation, we're actually monitoring the emotional state of all 22 players on the pitch. So Neymar has probably had a couple of bad challenges on Nasri, and you can see he's reacting to that. So there becomes a reaction. But if we just wind it back, we've actually got Aaron McCarty, our lead gameplay producer, in the back here controlling the game. If we wind it back, you're actually going to see in the background Yaya Toure puts his arm up, and he's actually appealing for the yellow card. If we move it forward, you've got Iniesta just in behind the referee, and he knows the card's coming.
Yeah.
So all of these players now are reacting to different situations. If we move it forward, you're going to see Messi and Dzeko. Dzeko applauds the decision. Messi doesn't like the decision. They know it's one of his, Messi knows it's one of his best players on his team. The players now have a memory, they now have context, they understand what's going on, and you'll start to see, not just in these situations, but also a big goal at the end of the game, players will react differently than a goal early on, and they'll also, in this case, bad challenge. It might be it was a great tackle, a game-saving tackle, players will come in and congratulate them.
Excellent.
So it gives this emotional state and this intensity. I mean, I think you'll agree, football's the most emotive sport there is, and we really wanted to bring that down onto the pitch.
Actually, if Nasri didn't cool off, if he was a little bit cooler, then maybe he'd be going to the World Cup with France as well.
Exactly, there you go.
Poor guys.
So the next thing I think we're going to show here is what we're doing. And again, I talked about the responsiveness and the feedback we got from the community last year. It's not just about the player movement itself this year. We wanted to make the game responsive in all areas, even more responsive, should I say, in more areas. So what you're seeing here is new ball physics and what we call correct contacts, but also run touch dribbling, where there we can now look at the predominant foot of the player. So we all know Messi's predominantly left-footed. You saw every touch there was inside and the outside of his left foot. But what we're also doing here is with the ball physics is the ball physics now are true to exactly where the ball touches. And you'll see now, if you just move it forward, the ball touch is perfect and the spin of the ball is too. And what this means is previously we were zeroing the spin on every touch and then re-imparting spin. What this does is it looks great, but actually what it really does is the responsiveness and fluidity in passing just gone to another level. So really a huge difference there, around passing the ball. And as you'll see, as we just finished off here with a shot, it looks really nice as well. And you can see the grass.
When when the PlayStation 4 version of this came out, I spent a embarrassingly long amount of time just uploading screenshots from this thing, like pretending I was it was almost like I was playing sports photography simulator and just taking stupid shots, like low depth of field shots behind Chesney's head of what it's like when.
Well, this is what you see. I mean, look at the visuals now. You see the detailing in the grass. You see the new lighting, which makes a dramatic effect on also how good the players look as well.
Excellent.
So I think if we move on to the next sequence, we're now going to talk about how we're getting that fluidity and control and also responsiveness now in tackling. So you're going to see Demichelis come in, do a slide tackle. And actually, just as we pause it here, this is our physics system coming in as well. He actually braces because he knows there's going to be a touch on him, so he actually puts his arms up. He grimaces as he comes up. And as he comes out of this situation here, he'll actually come up dribbling. And we never had get-up dribbles before. So again, you lost that responsiveness and control in that situation. So he gets up and comes out dribbling. I think if we go to the next situation, this is obviously more common as stand tackle. Before we see that, here is just a volley touch, which is brand new. You'll see the ball control. You'll see the spin on the ball here. But look at now the defender and the tackle. He comes up and the ball stays close. Previously, the ball, you probably know, it gets quite far away from you. Quite often goes back to the opposition. It felt unresponsive. It was frustrating. This is what we call a possession tackle. So, again, much more feeling of control around tackling the ball. And then if we go into the next one, this is a new physics again and control. Shoulder challenge here, easing the player off the ball, using that body position. And then I think we've got one more coming up now. This is all about our new AI. So we want the AI to feel like much more like we're playing against each other, more human-like. Players will now, we were talking about Chelsea earlier, the City are actually now parking the bus on you.
Okay.
So they're actually up, up a goal late They want to protect that lead, so they're actually, you can see here, 10 men completely behind the ball. And Barcelona, who we all know, go a little bit more tiki-taka style. Later on in the game are actually going to go more direct. So you can see here Iniesta actually plays a great ball into Messi, but there's all the systems coming into play. So I'll just show you here the emotion system. Messi makes a nice run along the line and actually points, I want the pass here, put it in here for me. He comes in, it's a great ball in. If we just pull back slightly, you'll see Company actually is appealing for offside because it's tight. That's a new volley type. Obviously nice contact with the ball. And now we have a get-up celebration that we've never had before. He gets up. It's a big goal at the end of the game. He's getting up, celebrating. City is still appealing for offside. Joe Hart's let in a goal. Gets up, and then he realizes that the flag's up.
Excellent.
So we've got a slight delay now on the offsides.
It's all those details.
Exactly.
Oh,
and then he starts to celebrate, and then he turns and realizes,
oh, well,
you know, he's offside. So you can see Joe Hart still thinks he's scored. So, so yeah, this is about bringing that emotional feeling. And, you know, what we really want to do is these are all the feelings you get when you're watching the game in TV.
Yeah.
We didn't feel we always had that sort of emotional reaction from the players. At times they wouldn't do a lot. Again, it's bringing that emotional reaction in you, the player, that just adds to your experience.
What's it like focusing so much on these details, which oftentimes when a player is playing the game, perhaps they realize it, but they don't realize they're seeing it? I
think it's the entire package, and I would want to point out that the focus for us is always gameplay. The number one thing, our biggest, the biggest size of our team is gameplay, and it always will be. But these details just add to that experience, add to that feeling of authenticity, which is so important in any game. So, it's that balance. But for me, when you see the reactions, it's what you expect to see. It's what you see on TV. It's what makes that the sport that we love, that connection for you. So, whilst he might not jump out of you that first minute, it then feels very natural.
Cool. I'm going to take a couple of questions from the community as well. First one, Excalibur Chris asking, dynamic weather. Obviously, there's always loads of different weather in FIFA games. Have you guys ever tried to play with the idea of bringing in rain and then dries up? Yeah,
it's a great idea. We won't have it this year. It's not something that we have the ability to do right now, but I think it's a great idea.
Bunch of questions about modes. Obviously, the last generation, the next gen version had stuff like online friendlies and custom tournaments, and tournament mode weren't in it. Are you guys going to address it this time?
Yeah, very happy to say tournament mode's back in, and so is guest play. So the two major things that unfortunately we just couldn't get to as we move to the new consoles are both back in this year. Yes.
Excellent. I'm assuming Ultimate Team will be making a return on both versions as well.
We'll be talking about Ultimate Team in a lot more detail with the new things in there in the next month or so.
Excellent.
Obviously, a very important mode for us.
Might be a little bit specific. It's a question I have. I remember the online friendlies in the next gen version were only for people on your friends list. Are you guys going to have open matchmaking again?
So we do. I mean, we have the online. We have seasons, which is your completely open, play anyone. It's an incredibly popular mode in our game. We obviously added the promotion and relegation to it back in FIFA 12, so that's all there. But the friendlies part is specifically for your friends. Have that. People that you know, and then you go and play seasons to play anyone in the world.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's a bunch of questions coming in, but I think we've basically covered everything, especially in showing the new physics for the game as well.
I mean, the one thing I will say as well is just, again, the community feedback's incredibly important to us. We talked a lot about responsiveness. Obviously, we've got a lot of feedback in the last year about headers and through balls, overpowered headers. So I will point out that a lot of the work we're doing at the contacts with the ball actually has quite a big effect on those as well. So one of the issues we had with through balls last year was at lower pace, the error on the through balls wasn't as much as we'd like. So we're tuning that, but also the contacts help with that. We're tuning the headers. Crosses now won't be quite as powerful because, again, it's harder to get a perfect cross because of the way the ball physics work. But we're also tuning it, so we really do listen to the feedback we're getting. We understand it, and obviously we'll be looking at that for this year as well.
I've got one last question, and it's in my ear, and I'm only asking this because we have a FIFA League at GameSpot, and there's one thing that we realized a couple of weeks ago. When you're doing random games, if you hit random game, we do the 5 random game, hit it 5 times, and then you land on whatever team you get.
Right.
We keep getting the same 3 teams.
Oh, really?
Spain, Scotland, and some Mexican Premier League team. And I've put it out on Twitter, and apparently, what is it? Monterrey, right? Monterrey. So, and I put it out on Twitter, and people were like, "Oh, I keep getting this, this, and this." Whoever's coding that random thing, just make it a bit more random.
Have a look. It's good feedback. Thank you.
Nick
We'll take a look. Great to be here. Thank you.
Pleasure. FIFA 14 for next gen and previous gen. When are they out?
15. FIFA 15.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
E3 2014.
It's out at the end of September.
Awesome. Thanks very much for coming on stage. I really appreciate it.